Mike Wiesner says the Eagle's looking at all the cargo ships stuck in the harbor with the Explore Scientific products.
Boy, that's about the truth. We did get a container today, though, that had been in Houston since the 20th.
Man. Well, I guess it's better than it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's not 3 months like it was back in January.
Yeah, we had some out there for 3 months, just floating out there.
Yeah, this one floated, I guess, it was supposed to theoretically originally birth like, I don't know, the 10th or 12th or something like that.
Yeah.
So it showed up last night on the 1st, so probably left Houston on the 30th.
Yeah. Great time to be in the logistics business.
So some say. So you said, howdy, Mike. Was that Mike Wiesner?
Mike Wiesner. Yeah, we were talking earlier today about the Arizona Star Party.
Yep, we have dates for that. We'll have to talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah.
And there will be birding this year.
Awesome. You're going to do a birding?
I think we'll do, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we'll do a birding show from there.
Mm-hmm. Well, check out the beaks on these hummingbirds.
Only a hummingbird can truly hover in still air. Its thin, stiff wings simply rotate at the shoulder, creating lift not by their shape and contour, but by their motion. The hummingbird is the helicopter to the peregrine's F-16.
That was a cool shot.
In the air,
Yeah.
and almost everything else about hummingbirds is due to the fact that they live on nectar. Their flying skills allow them to feed in midair directly in front of delicately waving blossoms. In return for their food, the birds pollinate the plants. Some hummingbirds' bills are a perfect match for the
Check this
shape
out.
of their favorite flower.
It's crazy.
The sickle-bill's strangely curved beak is designed to feed only on the curved flowers of the heliconia.
Crazy. It is.
You lose those flowers, you have no,
The
that bird's gone.
is another
more
exclusive
of 'em.
partner. Its enormous 6 to 8-inch flowers are too deep for all hummingbirds except one. The sword-billed.
Wow.
The sword-billed is the only bird whose beak is actually longer than its body.
I didn't even
That's
know.
insane.
I didn't know about that one. That's cool.
Hummingbirds that aren't equipped with special beaks are often adorned with dazzling colors. The sapphire-fronted emerald, the tourmaline sun angel, the ruby topaz. Their names alone attest to their jewel-like radiance. The secret is in the structure of their feathers. Microscopic prisms inside each feather split, refract, and reflect different wavelengths. The feathers appear lit from within, as though hummingbirds were made of light. These flashes of brilliance are all about protecting their patch of flowers. Hummingbirds use them to signal ownership of prized territories, taking on rivals in a clash of color. But perhaps the most extraordinary thing about hummingbirds is the most obvious: their size. They are masters of miniaturization. And in their case, smaller also means faster. An average-sized hummer must beat its wings 25 times a second in order to produce the lift it needs to stay in the air.
Looks like a woodpecker almost, the last one.
Yeah. Well, hello, everybody. This is Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific and the Explore Alliance. And today we have Kent on our program to talk about bird beaks or bills. Beaks.
Or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
Yeah. So
In English, I
me-
think that's the only two.
nope, there's other words.
Is there?
There are. So anyway, let me figure out what I'm doing here. Make sure we get the cropper screen and share the sound. Hey, there we go. All right. So, this is a standard opening. I keep saying I got to come up with music. Maybe I need to, I don't know. We'll figure something out here. So, welcome to On the Wing. I'm Kent Marts, and Scott's already introduced himself. A couple weeks ago, we've been on hiatus for the last 2 weeks, Scott, I think it's been. So, we've been off. But the last episode, somebody asked the question, what are bird beaks made of? I don't remember. It may have been Scott or it may have been somebody else on the chat. I honestly don't remember. So,
Well, it wasn't me. I think but I do recall the question.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. I apologize because I like to give shout outs. And again, if y'all have questions about something, I'm not going to know it, but I'll love to research it and do a little segment on it for us. So, what are bird beaks made of? Call them what you want. Beaks, bills, or Scott, rostrums. There we go.
Rostrums?
Rostrum is another
Oh,
term
that
for a
must be
bird
the
beak or bill.
Yeah.
This feature is found in birds, turtles, non-avian dinosaurs, and even some mammals have bills, as in specifically the duck-billed platypus. So, whatever you call it, the birds share a similar underlying structure. They have two bony structures, the upper and lower mandibles, and they're covered in a thin layer of epidermis named the rhomophaeaceae. I've been practicing that. Rhomophaeaceae. Something like that. Anyway, in most species of birds, there are two holes called nares, which lead to the respiratory system. So effectively, those are their nostrils. And there's a cool picture I found on Wikipedia, and using this under the Creative Commons license, attribution, share alike, 2.5 generic license. L. Shamala created this interesting diagram of the different beaks. These are not the sizes, but different shapes and sizes and uses of bills as well, rostrums, whatever. They're adapted to different shapes, related generally to feeding methods. I don't see a hummingbird there. Nectar feeders, I guess there would be a nectar feeder, third down on the left column. So, but we've still not answered the question, what are the beaks made of? So here's some pretty beaks. These are all Sheldon photos, I believe. Chickadee, woodpecker, a nuthatch, and either a purple finch or a house finch. The Rhomophaeaceae is made of a protein called keratin. So beaks are made of keratin, just like your hair and nails, just like your calluses and your outer layer of your skin, just like scales, horns, claws, and hooves, just like feathers and spider silk. And yes, there's room for one more. Just like the slime on a hagfish. Now, I've never seen a hagfish in person, but I've seen them in video. And hard to believe that stuff is the same stuff that our skin and fingernails are made of. However, that is the case. Hagfish are very incredibly slimy. So moving on, let's see here. So getting into the normal part of our show, this is the spectacular Cedar Wax Wing. For some reason, the video's not playing. So stand by a second. I'm going to have to stop sharing. Something happened. Oh, there it started. What's going on here? I'm going to have to reboot, relaunch the program. It didn't enable everything. Of course, live TV or live broadcasting, our viewers' pleasure get to see the chaos that I can cause. Let's see. And Scott's on the phone with somebody. There we go. Trying this one more time. So looks like it's going to play this time. Let me try this again. Let's see. Probably as I get everything set up before the show starts. Up there, it's playing, but I haven't shared sound yet. All right, so here we go. Here's the Cedar Wax Wing. I think this is going to play. Here we go. It's a high pitch, just. And that's the sound I've grown up. When I hear those in giant flocks, where there's 30, 40, 50 of those birds all making that sound, all in a berry tree, it's just a spectacular thing. And they're beautiful birds. As you can see, the breeding is up in northern Canada, the southern tier of provinces in Canada, year-round, and in the top half of the United States, and non-breeding in the bottom half of the United States. And they are a migratory bird. Just realized I don't have my cheat sheet notes up. Let's hope I can find those. Guess I'm going to have to punt because I can't find it. So anyway, the Cedar Wax Wing has many of them have this red coloration on their wingtips. That is a waxy buildup, hence the name waxwing. They're a large bird. They travel in large flocks. They feed on berries. If you want to attract them to your yard, you should plant shrubs that have berries, dogwood trees, things like that, because that's what they love to eat. Next bird is the American robin. We're all familiar with the American robin. It's ubiquitous throughout the United States. It migrates. There's times of the year when there are no robins here in Arkansas. I noticed a couple mornings ago that there was a massive number of robins in the backyard, which I believe is going to make them migrating birds. Let's listen to the call real quick. They have other songs as well. This is the most common song that I hear. I'm trying to find my notes. So they're a large bird. The females are less red on their breasts. So that makes it easier to identify them because they're same size otherwise. They have a white eye ring around their eye that is broken by a black spot on both sides. Bright yellow beaks. Beautiful bird. Let's go on to. There's another American robin taken by Sheldon. Using a telescope with this. Obviously, it's in the wintertime. I'm looking forward to snow. This is a really pretty picture of a robin. You can see the coloration on its wings very well. I think I'm going to do an episode on the wing structures because, each one of those feathers have terms for them, yet we don't really know what they are in common knowledge. And so been doing a little bit of reading, and we're going to talk about that as well. Next bird is the Tufted Tip Mouse. Just a spectacular bird. And from the picture, you can see that gigantic tuft or crown on the top of its head. That's just a beautiful sound right there. Beautiful song. Very, very unique. Wonderful songbird. Obviously, looking at the picture, top half of the body is a light gray, a little bit lighter around the chin and the cheeks. Has a very short, robust bill, jet black with a jet black patch right above its bill. Between its eyes, has a little bit of dun or rust colored under its wings. No notch in its tail. Generally travels in large flocks. It's a bird of the eastern United States, so doesn't get out west at all. Although looking at the map, there is a little circle of them basically around Great Salt Lake, which I find very strange that there have been some there, but none really tracked it in the rest of the country. So a beautiful bird.
Its beak is so short, though.
It's got a very short, robust beak. Yes, very. It is a seed eater.
Seed eater.
I see them, and they will come to bird feeders. So if you put out bird feeders in the wintertime, they'll come as well. Heath Creekmore, one of the customer service guys who recently moved over to quality control, has been keeping feeders out year round this year since basically summer, and he's attracts birds year round to his feeders. But they will easily attract the backyards. They travel through forest and woodland lots, generally in large mixed flocks with chickadees and juncos as well. And are very noisy and boisterous as they continuously call. Let's listen to that call just a little bit more.
Martin Eastburn says some seeds are very hard. Robust beak is very handy.
If that's what you want to eat, it's like if you're eating a steak, it helps if you have a knife, unless you get a steak, some Wagyu beef that you can cover or cut with a spoon.
All right.
All right. So, and moving on to the Scarlet Tanger, known as the Flame of Spring, because when they migrate, they are sights to behold. And here we go.
Guys, so bright red against that white snow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or the sky background or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the jet black wing on that red body makes them even stand out. That scarlet body makes them stand out even more. I've seen this bird before. I always think of summer tanager first, because summer tanagers we looked at a couple of weeks ago don't have that black wing for some reason. I don't think scarlet tanager first. I think summer tanager. As you can see, it's again an eastern United States bird, hence why Sheldon was able to take a photograph of it during its migration. And as you can see, it gets down into South America, down almost to the tip of the Andes. So this is one of the maps that really shows how far these birds migrate as well. So moving on, I apologize for not having my notes. I hid them from myself
Oh,
So,
God.
and so they're in a folder somewhere on my desk, but I have not
Yeah.
been able to locate it. So I'm just going by memory. And and I like talking about the habitats. Again, these are birds of the woodlands that are hard to see sometimes because they're up in trees. But check out that beak as well.
Hmm.
That is not a delicate beak, and tanagers are larger birds. They're roughly robin sized, a little bit larger maybe. So ending the slideshow because my notes can't talk as much, and I know I'm never at a loss for words, but this is a red saddlebags dragonfly by
Red
Terry.
saddlebags.
Red saddlebags, and if you look at it, you can see those red, wings,
Yeah.
right here. I suspect those are the red saddlebags because you think
Oh,
about, a horse or a motorcycle, they have saddlebags, and that's looks sort of like saddlebags. So, and it's just amazing to see. These are gossamer thin. You can barely see the wings up here. What I find
yeah.
interesting is these little yellow patches right here. Those are on each wingtip. This sort of cool.
Yeah.
So
They're as thin as cellophane. I mean, it's just really
yeah, they're delicate,
amazing.
and
Yeah.
and yet substantial enough to be robust acrobatic flyers with.
Yeah.
So again, just a beautiful picture by Terry Stanfield. So that's the end of the slideshow. I had the slideshow. I checked it out 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
made sure everything was working. Didn't think to look up my notes. So
The notes.
the notes are somewhat important to the show as well. So I did a little birding last
You're
weekend.
allowed to wing it on the wing
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes. So I did do a little birding last weekend.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay.
We wife and I went over into north central, up north and west of Tulsa, Oklahoma, for the weekend, and went to the Nature Conservancy's Tall Grass Prairie,
Oh, that's
which
right.
is 35,000 acres of partially high fenced, and it's dark out there. We're going to be doing some astronomy out there. Scott and I have been talking about a location. There's on the very far north edge of it. There's Bortle 2 skies.
Yeah.
So my wife and I Saturday night we were out there Saturday, and we were had been done for the day in a town called Pawhuska, Oklahoma. And she said, let's go back and see what the stars look like. And so my wife is not a big astronomer, but she's like, it'll be dark out there. And I said, well, hey, that's going to be dark. So we drove out and got to the southern edge to the first turnout where they have an interpretive little placard, and turned the lights off and stepped out. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful out here. It was, she found Andromeda Galaxy naked eye. She found the double cluster naked eye.
Wow.
And she's not, I said, okay, Pegasus is there, and see that V coming off. She says, oh, there it is. And she can see it naked eye, not knowing, it's rubbed off a little bit, but it's not like she's a big time observer or anything.
No.
So,
cool. That's
so
cool.
there was a nature trail, a half-mile nature trail that we walked, and there's a 2 or 3 mile one, and had binoculars with me, but didn't have a field guide with me. Couldn't find it in the truck. Saw 3 or 4 different sparrows, and heard another bird that without any ability to look it up, I thought it was sort of a chicken sound. So I thought maybe there's a prairie chicken out there somewhere, but prairie chickens don't make chicken sounds. Have researched. It's basically just sort of a growl and some drumming when they're mating. I have talked to the Nature Conservancy staff member over there, the publicist, and he said they don't have a lot of prairie chickens, but he said they do have some. And my wife are planning on going back. I think I'm going to try and go back in the bird migration in March, and specifically for birding, but then do some astronomy as well.
It's pretty close for us. He said it's about a 3-hour drive.
3-hour drive, 3 hours and a little bit to get up on into the drive back into 39,000 acres is
it's a nice little chunk of land. So Kent,
let's do some math here real
talked
quick.
a little bit about star parties earlier, and and we've kind of decided because of how iffy the weather can be here in Arkansas. We've got dark skies. That's not a question. We have some places that are Bortle 2, maybe even Bortle 1 skies, but we often get thunderstorms. We get high humidity at times, and so. But there's also other times where it's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are thinking about having some like informal type of star parties where a few of us can gather, and if you're in this kind of area and you want to show up with us, and we've already planned it, if we plan it, we're going unless it's drenched with rain. So so that's the deal. But and they'll be informal. I mean, not and free. We won't charge for them.
No programming, no program at all, other than if we're over there at the Tallgrass Prairie, we are going to do some birding. So
yeah, bring your birding binoculars,
Yep.
or hang out and learn about it. So we do have some events coming up that are more formal. These will be paid events that you have to, but that's so that we can cover our costs to do them. So next year, September 22nd through the 25th, we will have the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party 2, the second event at Oracle State Park. So I was confirming that today. I was updating Mike Wiesner on it as well. And you guys saw me on the phone for a little while Kent was doing his bit about the birds. And that was Mount Wilson Observatory. And so it looks like we've got it also confirmed to use the 100-inch telescope at Mount Wilson the following weekend. Okay.
Ooh.
So we're going to do like back-to-back events. So you go to, you'll pay your fees to go to the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. You'll be hanging out with, Mike Wiesner, David Levy, other people will be there. Explore Scientific contingent will be there. Kent will be there. He's going to do a birding event from that area. That is also an incredible place for birding.
And we'll be there in September, which is during the migration. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing the southern migration, birds going south.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the weather's often really beautiful at that time of year out there. So the Mount Wilson event would be starting that weekend, which would be September 30th.
Whew.
So the plan is that we go to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, okay, and we tour JPL that morning, like around 9:00. We go and have lunch, probably in Pasadena somewhere, and then we start heading up towards Mount Wilson Observatory. And we'll have a lecture or two up there in the museum, and we will convene at night in the 100-inch dome. And if we have a bad weather night, which can sometimes happen, we have Saturday and then Sunday is backup. So but what I'm thinking is that if everything goes off as planned, you do JPL, you do Mount Wilson that night, you rest Saturday, you come back on Sunday, and then we use the historic Snow Solar Telescope. And this is what George Ellery Hale was in love with, was the sun. So
what you're saying is we're still observing Sunday night, no matter what, as long as it's clear. But if we don't have to use the big telescope, we're going to use the solar telescope.
yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So
Well,
the solar
no, I
during the
mean,
day.
if we can't, if we get, if we get rained on Friday night, they won't open the dome with the 100-inch, of course, or any dome up here at Mount Wilson. But we would have Saturday as a fallback day, So Saturday would be a free day. You could go to, Griffith Observatory if you want. You could go to the Huntington Library, which is totally cool. Huntington Library and Gardens in Pasadena, or just hang out at the beach or whatever you like to do. I mean, Southern California is a fun place to be, especially at that time of year. September and September, October, all the tourists are gone, and the beaches are kind of cleared out. But the weather is awesome in California at that time as well. So anyhow, I hope that we'll start promoting that as we go along, and hope that some of you can make it. For those of you who can't make it, we will try to also broadcast from there. So that will be a challenge for us to do, but I think we can pull it off. So until that time, guys,
So I've done one other thing.
Sure.
I've started my life list. I'm gonna add birds as I see them. I'm gonna cheat because I saw some. I was gonna start from like today or yesterday,
Okay.
but I have some trumpeter swans passed through here a few years ago, and I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna cheat and add that because I could add cardinals and white-throated and white-crowned. I mean, I can get a whole bunch of birds real quick, but just paying attention. But I'm going to start a life list, and there's a couple of apps that I'm going to play with to see which one I like the best before saying this one. But Cornell Labs has some pretty cool stuff out there, so probably going to do that, and may keep an Excel spreadsheet one. But I'm going to start a life list of birds that I actually see and positively identify because why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
That's what
Why
birders
not?
do.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for hanging in there with us today. And all of you that are birders and astronomers are both, keep looking up because that's where you'll see the stuff. So we will talk to you later. Tomorrow we have Focus on Astrophotography with Tyler Bowman. And he's got a special program all set up already. So I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. Take care. Oh, and by the way, too, Friday, is it Friday? Yeah, we've got
Tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday, the 3rd, and we have Astronomical League Live program that comes on at 7 o'clock Eastern, which is 6 p.m. our time, Central. So you'll want to tune in for that, too. All righty. Thanks very much, everybody, and we will talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.